For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a returning guest. We have Justin Kemp. How's it going today, Justin?
Oh, it's going pretty good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Just kind of enjoying this weird Texas weather we're having right now. I know you're out in Hobbs, so you're probably experiencing a little bit of the same weirdness in this weather, but...
Oh, yeah, I'm right off the Texas state line, so usually the weather's pretty much the same here as it is there.
Yep. I'm enjoying the 70-degree day, 40-degree nights. It's perfect the way I like it. So.
Oh yeah, today was beautiful. It's chilly now. As soon as that sun went down, it was back to winter again.
Oh yeah. But really excited to have you back on. I know you got some new music out and just released a music video. Was it back in January? October?
Yeah.
Got the music video?
Yeah, the music video and the song released in October.
Okay, in October. Gotcha. So I'm excited to sit down and chat about that, and then all your fun new stuff you always got going on. I've been watching some of your live streams on Facebook there for a little bit that you've been doing over the last couple of weeks, and it's really cool, man. I'm really digging what you got going on. So for anybody that's just meeting you for the first time, since it's been, I think, about a year and a half since we had you on here last, kind of refresh everyone, your background story, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got into music really young. Of course, it started in elementary school with band and stuff like that, and playing in like marching band and concert and all that stuff. And then as I got to about 10 years old, I got interested in the guitar because my dad always had one around. Got into playing that around 10. I think I got my first one at 11, and I haven't put it down since. Ended up going to it was always a hobby, but I played it every single day. I woke up, I played it. I got home from school, I played it before I went to bed. I played it. It was either laying on my bed, next to my bed. It was always within hand's reach. And ended up graduating high school. Went to waited about a year and a half, 2 years, decided to go to college, went to South Plains College in Levelland, and earned a music degree over there and learned as much as I could. Met a lot of great people, great musicians, and decided to start a band. And lo and behold, six going on 7 years later, here we are.
Yeah. It's interesting because the more musicians that I talk to that come out of that are born, raised in that Southeast New Mexico area and West Texas, a lot of them come out of South Plains, which is really
a fantastic school. The big 90s country boom, a lot of those guys, I don't know if I can think of any right now, Heath Wright from Ricochet, Jared Neiman, not Laura Morgan, what's her name? I can't think of her name. It'll come to me in a minute, but there's a lot of great musicians that came out of South Plains that are in the industry now, or that have retired from the industry, or are still in it. It's a great school, great program, great people, great instructors. And it's just a really good school. If you're wanting to learn all around anything about everything in the industry, they teach you a little bit of everything there. And it's a really good school, and it doesn't break the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if you're in the area, it doesn't break the bank, but then it also doesn't cost you that much to live, because you could pretty much.
Oh no, yeah, you can either live on campus or go live over in Lubbock, or just commute from if you're within an hour and a half, 2 hour distance, you can just commute. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, for sure. So since we had you on last, you've released some new music. What's kind of the story behind this new song you got out, Borrow a Kiss?
Yeah. So Borrow a Kiss kind of started out as an idea of, I've always been a fan of cheesy pickup lines. I find them funny. I find them humorous, and the cheesier, the better, because I'm a cheesy guy, I'd say. And I like cheesy stuff like that. So we had a co-writing session that was booked in Nashville in February of 2018, I think. And anyway, we had a co-writing session set up, and we didn't know what we were going to write about. And so me and my pops, who was in here a minute ago, we were kicking back ideas back and forth because we knew we had to have some type of topic or something that, because we didn't want to just kind of go there, hey, how's it going? Let's kind of wing it. We wanted to have a base. And we kicked around the idea of cheesy pickup lines, and we had both, without knowing, wanted to write a song about pickup lines. So we ended up doing that. We pitched it to Brenda Kornblum, who was the co-writer. She loved it. We went with it, and we started researching the cheesiest pickup lines we could find. Ended up on a website and found some books, and we probably read through a couple hundred of pickup lines. And I came across one, and as soon as I read it, I knew immediately that's country. That's a country song right there. Just saying that sounds like a country song. The name of it was "Can I Borrow a Kiss If I Promise to Give It Back?" I was like, I mean, that's as country as it gets when it comes to a pickup line, at least in my mind.
Yeah.
So we rolled with it. Everybody loved it, and the song wrote itself within an hour. And we walked into the studio probably the next day, maybe a day or two after that, and then I don't know. It sat in our pocket for a little while because shortly after that, as everyone knows, COVID hit. And kind of shut everything down. And so try to finalize mastering and everything in the studio, and then, wanting to do a video idea. And so I think right before COVID got real bad, we shot a video in a town close to here, about 20 miles from here, in a coffee shop. And it came out awesome. I love it. It's a great song. It's cheesy, but it's not too cheesy, corny, It's, the typical pickup lines you'd expect to hear. And, but I think the song came out really well. I'm happy with it. I love the music with it. I love everything about it. It's doing really well. People seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. Was there any second pickup lines that came close to almost being?
Oh man. Honestly, if there were, I can't remember because it was so long ago, but I knew I had some written off to the side somewhere. I probably had it somewhere in a notebook. I had some, that were, this one might work, this might do. So I kind of had a list, like 3 or 4, maybe 5 of them. And then I read that and was like, no, this is the one. We're going with that one. This one's perfect. So we went with it because I had never heard that line before. I was like, man, this is so, whoever came with this has, got some brain power. This is a good one. So
for sure,
I ended up going with that one, and I forgot what all the other ones were. It's been so long.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of just signifies that you picked the right one, because if you didn't 100% know that Borrow Kiss was going to be the right phrase, then you'd still remember one or two of the other ones. And, so. Yeah,
because the other ones are, so, let's see, the chorus is what's made up of the pickup lines. And it's, have you been here before? Can I have your number? I think I lost mine, stuff like that. So, you hear those quite often. And that line by itself, I mean, it doesn't even really sound like it. It sounds like a genuine country statement, Can I borrow a kiss if I promise to give it back? If somebody said that to me, I'd be, stunned, speechless. I wouldn't know what to say to that. So I was like, yeah, that's perfect. We're going with that one. And it wrote itself, and man, I love it. It came out awesome.
Yeah. And so did you know automatically once you wrote it that you wanted to put a music video with this?
Not at first, but we did kind of have the idea that we were wanting to do a music video just because, every artist has at least, those few songs that they do a video with. If not most of their songs, they have a video too, but at least they're singles. And, I had never done a video quite like we did for this one. And so, at first, no, we didn't have, the thought of doing a video, but a little while afterwards, we got to kicking the idea around, and I ended up having a buddy that's what he does for a living. And he's the one that shot the video, and it came out awesome. And I was really happy with the end product of that one.
Nice. And what time you mentioned that you'd shot it in a town near you? What
Lovington, New Mexico, about 20 miles.
Yep. I know Lovington. I lived in Roswell for 4 years. I don't know if we talked about that.
Exactly where a little coffee shop over there right off Main.
Yep. I I think I shot a commercial in there once.
Might have. They're pretty nice people.
Yeah. But yeah, so you worked for the TV. I worked for Channel 8 in Roswell.
Okay.
So the NBC affiliate. I think, yeah, you guys get it out there in Hobbs. So yeah, so I know Lovington, Hobbs. I know that entire area. It's kind of wish I could go back, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where life takes me on this crazy journey.
Oh yeah, you got to take it day by day, man. You know, see where life takes you. You never know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, much less tomorrow. So, for sure.
So you'd mentioned that you wrote the "Can I Borrow a Kiss" in Nashville. How often are you going out to Nashville?
It's actually been since then. We haven't been. When COVID hit, it kind of put a stop to traveling and everything like that. Now that everything's getting back to the usual, we haven't been back up to Nashville in a while, but we've been working on things here, trying to stay relevant, because when COVID hit it, it canceled a lot of my shows and a lot of traveling and stuff that we had booked, and going to Nashville or all over, and so we're kind of trying to rebuild that after COVID hit, and but we've been focusing on, I've got some more songs I'm ready to get in the studio, and trying to work on the social media, and just trying to branch out and get a stronger foundation on my social media platforms and my fan base and stuff like that. And just trying to keep everything firm. So, my name and my face and my songs and my music can stay relevant. That's what I don't, kind of fall under. But I do want to go back to Nashville though. I miss it, man. I love it up there. It's just so filled with music. It's constant ideas, constant, motivation and wanting to play all the time. And it's I do want to go back, hopefully sometime soon. For sure.
It's Nashville's starting to open up, and it's just kind of at a point where whatever you're most comfortable with, that's where people are starting to get, like, if you're comfortable traveling all over the country, go for it. If not,
absolutely.
So which is really cool. So I'm glad we're kind of getting back to that point.
I agree.
So you'd mentioned that you got some more songs that you want to get in the studio and record. Yeah. Are these songs that you're looking to release in 2022, or what's kind of the plan looking like?
I'd like to release at least one of them this year.
Yeah.
If not two of them, if I can manage it. Cause I at least every 6 months or so, I want to try to release a song, if not every 3 to 6 months, if I have a song written, I want to try to get it in the studio, or at least, get some bass recordings done on it so we can get it, in the studio and get it mixed and mastered and all that. And that way I'm consistently releasing music, because before Bar or Kiss, it had been a year, I think, or a year or two before, since the last time I released one. Now it's been since October. So I think it's about time to get another one in there and get another one out there.
Yeah, because I think the last song you released was the last time you were on here, which was "Money in My Pocket," right?
Yeah,
does that sound about
Money
right?
In My Pocket, and then probably about a year and a half, and then we released another one. And I feel like that's too long to wait in between releasing songs, especially trying to keep your name relevant and keep more music getting out there. So
especially
I've got a few of them now that I want to get ready.
Cool. Yeah, it's especially if you're just doing like singles. A year and a half, that's a bit of a wait, unless you're like actively out there, like continuously playing. Then the amount of releases you actually do, I guess, doesn't really matter.
And of course, when we released Money, we were pretty steady busy playing gigs all the time until COVID hit. And then, of course, with COVID, that's the main, I don't want to use that as an excuse, but that was the main issue that kept us from releasing another single and getting it out there, because we had Borrow Kiss ready. It was close to ready. It wasn't quite finished as far as getting the mastering and mixing done, but COVID was a big part of why it took so long. But I do want to do an album too. Like, I want to get another song out there, but I want to release an album, because a lot of people aren't doing albums anymore. It's all singles, and which is cool, and that's fine and all. And I went that route for a little while, but I'm trying to decide between if I want to add these songs to an album and use one of them as a single, or release them all as single, or put them all on individual albums and each one of them be single, because they're all really great songs. And I think every single one of them could be, a single out of the 3 that I have.
And you're talking about the songs that you're getting ready to go in and record?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that for everyone listening, because no, and that makes 100% sense, because it's like you could like use each one as its own single, leading it to its own album, or put them all together. It just really kind of depends. But like you mentioned, right now it's a singles game, but there's still people making an impact with an album. And if you get to a point where you're actively playing and out there, albums work. Like, there's nothing wrong with an album.
I mean, you can sell them at shows too, but it's also being a musician on the musician side of it, listening to an album, you get to hear all the musicianship on the album, the guitar playing and all the drumming and all the chordal stuff, how it all fits together. As a musician, I love listening to full albums and picking out parts like, oh man, that's a cool idea, I might add that to my playing. Or it might, listening to whole album, a lot of people don't just sit around and listen to a full album anymore. And which of course you got to move with the times, it's about singles right now. But there are still quite a few big artists out there, like Aaron Watson, I think releases at least 1 to 2 albums a year. Yeah. I know he for sure does one a year.
I'm trying to think now. Yeah. Maybe 3 every 2 years. I think that's kind of.
Yeah. Well, I know he's always working on an album and releases at least 1 a year. Yeah. He's kind of got a system down for it. But, I also have thought, I could release these songs as singles, these 3 new ones that I want to get in the studio. I could release them as singles and then just make an album of all the singles that I've released. Mm-hmm. Because if I release these 3 songs, then I have enough to make at least a EP, 10 song album out of just singles. So I could go that route. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. I haven't quite made up my mind. I at least right now I want to get them in the studio and get them finished and, get them worked up.
Yeah, for sure. Since you're kind of in this process of getting back into the studio and recording, how do you kind of decide what songs ultimately are going to get recorded?
Really, whatever song that I have, I want to, try to get it recorded, Okay. Just because like Borrow a Kiss and like Money in My Pocket, for instance, a buddy of mine wrote that one. But the musicianship, man, those studio guys are out of this world when it comes to, coming up with ideas and music. And so I love being in that environment, listening to them come up with ideas and pitching them to me and say, hey, how does this sound? Or do you want it to go this way or that way? And, because you've got all of them in there at once. So you get to hear everything at once. And so that's what I want to do. I want to get these songs in the studio and, have them listen to them for a week or so and send me back their ideas. Because, I want to hear the full thing, because it's hard to imagine. I can hear it, but I want to be able to actually hear, if what I'm thinking is the right way to go, because those studio guys, because they play to how the song needs to be written, they play what the song needs. So I want to get them in there and see what they have and all that. But if I write a song, I want to try to get every single one of them done. Yeah. I don't want to leave, because you never know, the song that I think is crap could be, a number 1 hit, and I'd never know because I never recorded it and released it. Yeah. So I'm pretty open-minded and I try not to, how do I word this? I try to release as much music as I can. Gotcha. Because I don't want to feel that regret later that, man, I should have released this song. Or, this song could have been this. So I'd rather just get them all out there, get it all done.
For sure. See, that's an interesting tactic that you're very, I don't want to say conservative, but every song that you write, you have the intention of releasing or at least recording
on an album, at least on an album or something, because the more music, the better, you never know what song's going to reach who or touch who, or, my first experience with a song I had written touching somebody in a way that I didn't expect it to really hit me and made me realize that, man, no matter if I think it's crap or not, somebody else is going to think this is the best song in the world. And so I try to keep the mindset of whatever I write when it's finished, to get it recorded, at least on an album or maybe a single or whatever. But I at least want to get everything I write out there, and get my music out there.
For sure.
There's no sense in me keeping it and holding it back,
Yeah. And that makes 100% sense. How often are you sitting down to write music? Is it like a continuous thing, or is it a little bit more sporadic?
It's usually every day, sometimes every other day. Sometimes I could go a week without it just to clear my head, but I'm always trying to work on a new song, or I have so many. Like, I'll start writing a song and I'll get a chorus or a verse, and then I get an idea for another song as I'm playing this one. So I end up with 15 starts to songs, and so now I've got 15 songs I got to work on. And so I try to go back and touch on them, and I'll pick one and I'll work on it a little bit. Okay, I'll put that one aside and I'll grab another one. And sometimes they write themselves within 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes more time, just trying to feel it out and hear it mentally. Where does the song need to go lyrically or musically? And some things could change, some things couldn't, so I'm trying to write every single day, at least 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. But I touch my guitar every single day. I practice and I play every single day. And that usually puts me in the mindset of trying to write something, at least a chord progression, some lyrics, something.
Yeah, for sure. Is there a current song that you're kind of working on that is either challenging you, or maybe it's just kind of, I'm trying to think of the word I want to use, but like, that's just like piquing your interest as to what it could be?
Yeah, I've got a couple. There's one rhythmically, I'm not sure where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one lyrically, I'm not sure where to go. But they're both, I feel like they both had the potential to be really good songs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they've kind of stumped me and confused me as to what direction I should take them. So I'll like in that case, like rhythmically on this one, I don't know where to go with this. So I'll go and listen to just random music and see if I can find a rhythm I think is going to work with that, to kind of spark a new idea of how can I transition this rhythm into a verse, something like that. So yeah, there's at least one or two of them that have piqued my interest as far as wanting to getting them done
as what they could be. Or yeah. Cool. That, it's always interesting, like, especially when musicians are always in that creative mindset or just like continuously writing. I do like to take a couple of minutes and just kind of pick their brain and see where they're at in that aspect. And
and don't get me wrong, I do get writer's block a lot.
Yeah.
From time to time, but I'm at least always trying to 5, 10, 15 minutes touch on a song that I've started and try to progress it at least a little bit.
Do you find it easier to start with the instrumentation first, or do you have to start with your lyrics first?
Most of the time it's a chord progression I have that kind of sparks the idea for a melody, and then I sit down and think of what I want to write about, or sometimes just words will pop into my head or I try to match the lyrics to the rhythm of the song or the melody, or I try to be open-minded when it comes to writing, because you can get an idea from anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Where do you find you get most inspired? While you're driving, where do you tend to find your most
usually when I'm sitting down just playing random chord progressions or playing random noodling around random nonsense, and an idea will spark.
Nice. That's cool. And this is all just work in progress stuff. I know you mentioned you got a few songs that you want to jump into the studio. How soon do you think you'll get into the studio, or is this still like a work in progress?
It's still a work in progress. I'm not sure as to when, but I do want to soon get them in a studio, at least get a bass rhythm track done on them, so I can get them sent out to some studio guys and see what ideas they have, or send them to my guys that play with me and see what ideas they have, or I haven't decided which route I want to go yet.
Gotcha.
Just to mention all the 3 songs that I've mentioned that, I have done, I have played on the lives on my Facebook. So if you guys want to know what they are, I'll probably play them every single Tuesday, just to keep getting people's, feedback on them. But
that was actually going to be one of my questions, was these 3 songs, are they road test? How often do you road test them usually, or?
Yeah, if I write a new song, I like to throw it into shows, at least, every now and then, or sometimes every show. Sometimes it could be, every third show or something. I try to throw it in there just to get the feed. Depends on the crowd, really. It's a lot about reading the crowd and seeing what they're feeling. If they're liking the original music, I'll throw in, oh, hey, this is a new one. You guys give me your honest feedback. Let me know how you think, what you think about it. And so I do that a lot. I'll throw it in the set and see what people think about it, just to see where I need to go with it.
Yeah. Gotcha. And how long have you been doing the Tuesday live streams on Facebook, right?
About a month. I think we just started back up a month or two ago.
Okay. Was that something that you started early on during the pandemic, or?
So I was doing them before the pandemic. I did them for about a year, maybe 2 years before the pandemic, a year and a half probably. And then I stopped doing them because I got really busy show wise and stuff like that. And then the pandemic hit. And at first, that first 6 months of when, COVID hit in 2019, we were still fairly busy. But after that, it was like, man, I need to do something to fill my time and at least keep my name relevant. So we started doing the live Facebook, just kind of chatting and playing songs. And, but it was kind of on and off. And then the last month or two, probably about 2 months ago, decided that I needed to keep it consistent and do at least once a week. And I take requests, and, from as soon as I'm done with that live, with whatever requests I have on there, I go and I try to learn those songs for the next week. So, I'm constantly learning new music, becoming a better musician, but I'm also, engaging my fans to come back the next week because I learned the song that they requested the week before. So,
Cool. Yeah, for sure. It's Facebook and, doing the live streams like that is really cool. I've been really into it. I got really into it early on during the pandemic. And then it got to kind of this weird point where it's like everybody and their mother was doing like music live streams, and you couldn't tell like the good ones from the bad ones. And then we started snooping around here on Twitch, where we're streaming the podcast now.
I've actually been trying to stream on Twitch, but I can't get it to work with I'm using Streamlabs to stream to multiple sites. So I'm doing Facebook and usually it's Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Yeah.
But I try to throw Twitch in there. For some reason, it doesn't work, and I haven't quite figured out why it's not working yet. So
really,
once I get that figured out, I'll be doing Twitch as well.
Yeah, because that music community on Twitch is just...
I've had people telling me this for you, man. You need to stream playing on Twitch. Just you don't even have to say anything. Just sit there and play, or you could just sit there and talk the whole time.
Yeah,
But I've heard that the fans on Twitch are out of this world.
Oh yeah, we've been doing the podcast on Twitch now for about 2 weeks, and just some of the musicians we have on, they'll bring their fans over if they already are streaming on Twitch and whatnot, and it's wild. It's pretty cool. You'll go into a show and
that's awesome.
So, but no, it's really cool. So just kind of moving forward. So the plan for 2022 is to keep pushing Can I Borrow a Kiss, and then hopefully get into the studio to record these next set of songs. Are you active outside the live streams? Are you actively playing live or like in-person shows, or is that kind of still?
Yeah. So like during the week, because this is all I do, it's my full-time job is playing music. So during the week when I'm not playing show, like Tuesdays or sometimes Thursday, if there's an issue, I'm doing the lives, one, to keep myself busy, two, to learn new songs and, try to spark new ideas for my own songwriting and just become a better player. But I am also on the weekends still playing gigs, and sometimes it's a coffee shop, sometimes it's a big full band gig, sometimes it's an opening set somewhere, sometimes we're headlining. It's just sporadic gigs, but we're still playing quite a bit.
Cool. What's some of your upcoming shows you got going on?
We got one in Fort Worth, I think, in the next week or two.
Okay.
Next weekend.
Cool. That's.
And I think Weatherford right after that.
Fort Worth will be cool. It's like I've only been to Fort Worth a handful of times because usually I don't go to Dallas. For whatever reason, I just don't go to Dallas, but and get that area. But Fort Worth.
I think we'll be in the Glen Rose area or something like that. And then we're going to be in Weatherford. We play at this place in Lubbock called the Funky Door quite a bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then we've got, one coming up in Alamogordo.
Mhm.
We've already got some weddings booked. Some of them are private, but we're playing quite a bit.
You mean they actually allow live music in Alamogordo?
Oh yeah. They never shut down, really, honestly.
Really? Because when I lived out in Roswell, we had people that lived, or like we had friends that lived out in Alamogordo, and they complained because everything shut down. Or like Alamogordo was like they didn't have much of a nightlife.
Oh wow, yeah, I know. At least the last year, they've been quite open because we've been playing there consistently. Like we have a few friends up there, and sometimes they'll hire us to play at their house, or we're playing, somewhere in town. Like we did their fair, and then we did their 4th of July party, or like the county 4th of July fair, and but yeah, we've got one at the 575, I think, coming up there.
Okay, nice. That's cool. I'll have to get back out to Roswell. It's been a few months since I've been out there, and like it's a little southeast New Mexico area. We had a short-lived radio show in Roswell, and once that kind of got canceled, I not stopped going out there. I just couldn't afford to do it, so I was just like,
I mean, no sense in pulling more money out of your pocket than needed.
Yeah, for sure. So kind of outside of music, what do you do when you're not playing music?
Writing music. Right. I mean, like I said, this is my full-time job. So it's I wake up in the morning, I'll have my coffee, I'll eat, and it's usually straight to at least practicing my guitar, trying to learn something new, or it's, writing a song, or it's learning new songs and trying to get ideas from those songs, or so I'm day in, day out, living, breathing music. So
Gotcha.
I will take a break. I may go down to the small lake we have here and go fishing, or I might, go hang out at a buddy's house, or do something to kind of clear my head, because, too much of something is always a bad thing. So I don't want to get stuck in a rut doing the same day in and out. So I try to take it day by day, but at least every day I'm playing and trying to write something.
Gotcha. That's a good way to look at it. It's even when you're in those moments of writer's block, it's kind of like,
oh yeah. And believe me, I love it. And I don't feel like I'm working, but like I said, too much of something is a bad thing. You can love something and not feel like you're working, but if you're doing it too much and not remembering to take a minute to breathe, it can overwhelm you.
Or remember why you're doing it in the first place. That makes sense. Cool. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. If anybody wants to check out your new music videos, upcoming shows, where's the best place for them to do that?
I mean, all my music is anywhere you can download it. But my website has a link to everything on it. So JustinKempBand.com. You can find me on Facebook most of the time. Most of the time I try to reply to messages and stuff. If you have a question or something like that, you can message me on Justin Kemp Band on Facebook, but my website has a link to the YouTube and Spotify and Reverb or what is it? Reverb Nation and all the streaming sites my music is on. YouTube has the music video on it. I think it's on my Facebook somewhere, but yeah, JustinKempBand.com. It's got all my info on there.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been a blast. Been a blast catching up, and hopefully next time I'm out in New Mexico, I'll catch one of your shows. Hobbs is a little far from Roswell, but I've made the trip before. It's really not that bad. So
that's not too bad.
No. But once again, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.